What's up, everybody? I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you guys your daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, and American Contractor. They do great work, and they are linked in the description to this video, so you guys can go ahead and check them out there. We've got a really slow-moving trough, and it's been lingering over the eastern U.S. for the past couple of days. It's going to continue for today and tomorrow. We've got all risks possible, featuring Oregon as well. So we got hail risks and wind risks for you guys up in the Pacific Northwest to talk about too. And then into tomorrow, that Pacific Northwest risk, try saying that 10 times fast, is going to shift off into the northern plains. And then we're also going to have another East Coast risk as well while we wait for that trough to finally push off the coast. Then last but not least, looking ahead into the Memorial Day weekend, we should be starting to get back into a more active pattern, as well as shifting it up a little bit from, all those East Coast risks. So we're going to go ahead and look at your Memorial Day chances as well. But before all of our weather, getting into our upcoming events, go see us at the NTRCA Not So Many Trade Show, guys. We're going to be in Grapevine, Texas at the Grapevine Convention Center on June 8th. So if you guys want to come out there and say hello, if you're already in the Grapevine area, or if you're planning to travel down to Texas for any reason, go ahead and stop by, say hello to all of us. We're excited to see you guys there. Then for yesterday, we had a little bit of activity across some of the east, again with that trough. Mostly wind to go throughout. Got a little bit of severe hail up in Kentucky, and then some sub-severe reports up through Illinois and Indiana. But again, it was mostly a windy day through the eastern U.S. for yesterday. Looking kind of similar for today. I mean, spot the trough here on our current conditions map. There you go, spinning away over central Missouri and through Kansas, Oklahoma right now. As that pushes eastward, we've got a cold front coming off of that. That's going to continue to spark up those storms in the eastern U.S. Already going right now. We've got a couple of hailers up in Illinois, as well as some storms getting ready to go severe here in the next few hours as they continue to track through the southeast and the Ohio Valley. Then on up into the Pacific Northwest, we got kind of a different situation here. Another disturbance moving through into Oregon, Idaho, and Montana. And with that, the upper air is just so cold that any sort of lift is going to start to produce hail. So probably going to see a hail chance into the coming hours, as well as a wind threat through the area for you guys in the Pacific Northwest. Then for the rest of us, going to be pretty mild through most of the central U.S. here. 74 degrees in Denver, Colorado, 82 in Dallas, 86 in Houston. Then once we shift off to the east, starts to get a little bit more cloud coverage, a little bit more rain. So 65 degrees up in Fort Wayne, 76 in Atlanta while we wait for those storms to roll through. Then as far as humidity, got tons of it through the eastern U.S. here. 64-degree dew points in Chicago, 66 in Atlanta. Going to sit mostly in the mid-60s throughout the eastern U.S. and then much, much drier once we get out west of the Central Plains. But, all of that humidity, all of that heat through the East Coast, as well as that cold front that's moving through, that's going to help us shift into storm mode later on in this afternoon. And then, once we see a little bit of an uptick in our humidity, as well as that upper level disturbance moving through Oregon, we're going to start to see some storms up there as well. But mostly focusing on the East Coast here, since that is the majority of where we're going to see storms today. We've got some instability values moving through the Ohio Valley area, as well as the southeast. There we are by 2 p.m. Storms are already ongoing through this area of moderate instability here, and they're going to continue to roll through once we get into Kentucky, into Illinois, Indiana, and all the way down into Georgia and South Carolina. We could see more of a hail chance starting to pop up, although it's going to be very scattered. And then as those storms continue to pass through and nightfall comes, we're going to see those instability values taper off. And then we have to wait for our storm chances for tomorrow. So here's what we look like here in a couple hours. Again, already got some severe activity going on through Illinois. We've got a tornado watch down in Mississippi, Alabama area. And with this line of storms coming up, we could see a little bit of spin. So that should continue on for the next couple of hours. So be aware if you guys are in the Florida Panhandle, Mobile, Alabama area under that tornado watch. Then up to the north, we've got some scattered storms developing through Kentucky, through Ohio by around 2 p.m. Again, any of those could be isolated hailers as well as producing gusty winds. Then as they continue off to the east, hitting Cincinnati by 4 p.m. Note that this is in Central Time. So again, this is 5 p.m. Eastern, moving through Cincinnati, and then as well as Columbus area through the Knoxville, Tennessee area with some scattered storms that could, again, be producing all risks. we're going to continue to see that slowly linger. It's just creeping into the eastern states here. So there we are by 6 p.m. Still got some storms ongoing through Cincinnati. So, we're just going to have to wait for that to gradually pass over to the east. And then, there we are moving into the Roanoke area by around 8 p.m., moving past Greenville, South Carolina. And then, again, it's just really slowly moving. We had that over here in Oklahoma for the past few days, rained for like ever, and that's just going to continue across the eastern states. Similar conditions for you guys coming up for today and tomorrow. Then up in Oregon, Idaho, and Montana, looking clear and sunny right now. However, things are going to change over the next afternoon and into the early evening hours. There we are by 9:30 p.m. starting to get some storms developing through Washington, Oregon, through the Idaho and Montana corridor. Not looking too menacing, but again, just because of the altitude you guys are already at, once we get any sort of lift into the upper air where it's so cold, you can start to get a hail chance out of that. So we're going to see that continue into the late evening and overnight hours with hail and wind possible with any of those scattered storms tracking upward into Montana. So again, stay tuned for that for you guys. So for today, just because of the setup, it's not looking super active, super promising. So the largest hail I'm guessing is going to be up to ping pong balls in size. Not a ton of instability values through the east or really through the Pacific Northwest, but a couple of stronger storms could latch on to some of that higher instability and produce up to ping pong ball size. So for today's hail forecast, surprise, surprise, there you go. Quarters to $half possible through any of the regions that we talked about in our future radar. So if you guys are in the east, anywhere through Atlanta, Birmingham, Montgomery, Nashville, through Tennessee, or through most of Kentucky, could see some quarters to $half with any of those scattered storms that are passing on through, as well as some gusty winds, which we'll take a look here in a minute. Then up into the Ohio Valley and the upper Midwest here for Chicago, Detroit, Champaign, Indianapolis. Also an isolated quarter to $half sized hail threat for you guys with those scattered storms as they track through the area. Then on over into the Pacific Northwest here through Missoula, Boise, I believe that's Pendleton, Oregon. You guys have, again, quarters to $half possible with any of those storms. Probably going to drop a high volume of small hail and could get, again, up to $half with those storms with a couple of the larger stones that move through. Then in terms of wind, going to look at pretty much the same areas for that, except extending a little bit further eastward for our East Coast risk to account for that band of storms that's going to develop and push through as we lose that hail threat. So jumping on into the East Coast and Ohio Valley, moderate chances for anywhere from Cincinnati down into Mobile, Alabama, and again, there is a tornado threat through the southern part of that with some rotation that we'll get on our storms. So definitely stay tuned for gusty winds if you guys are in the southeast. So Atlanta, Birmingham, Nashville. Then once we get out into Roanoke, that's the far eastern part of the risk there. That's overnight, so low end chance that storms can sustain that severity for you guys. Same story for Chicago, Indianapolis, Detroit, and Cleveland. You guys are on the far northern end of that, so things are a little more scattered over you guys, but still a gusty wind threat nonetheless. Then off into the Pacific Northwest for Pendleton, Boise, and Missoula, low end chance. But again, non-zero, that you could get some collapsing storms, producing some outflow winds, as well as some hail for you guys up through that area. So stay tuned if you guys are in any of those regions. And then it's going to continue for the east as well as the northern plains into tomorrow. So there's that trough by 11 a.m. I mean, it made its way from Roanoke to like central Virginia here into the Raleigh-Durham area. So it really didn't track too far in that period of time. Just creeping towards the east coast by 11 a.m., but we still will have a severe thunderstorm chance through the area through Savannah, Georgia, through Columbia, South Carolina early in the morning. Then as we go, things are going to shift up to the north as that southern end of the band starts to track off the east coast. And then there we go for Washington, D.C. by around 2:30, 3:30 Eastern. As we track through, could get some gusty winds as well as some small hail as that goes. Then making a run at New York by around 7 p.m. But again, we're starting to lose some intensity as in our storms as that sun goes down. And then just some scattered cells through the Ohio Valley still that could be producing some thunder, some lightning, and some hail near the severe limits, so around 1 inch. And then as we continue to move off the coast, finally, overnight, it should be pretty clear for you guys in most of the eastern U.S., so no more thunderstorm chances for you guys on Saturday. So there you have it. And then up in the northern plains here, that risk that was in Oregon is going to continue to shift off. And then we'll see by 4 p.m. storm development through North Dakota, through Montana. And again, they don't look too menacing on our future radar, but it's the same setup as we're seeing today in Oregon. With that altitude, we could get some severe hail up through the area with any of those isolated storms. As they continue off by 6 p.m., we're starting to see them gain a little bit of intensity as they move into the Rapid City area, as well as tracking just south of Billings, Montana. Any of those could be isolated hailers, as well as producing gusty winds into tomorrow as they track eastward, and then overnight, again, lose their intensity, and then it should be a clear morning for you guys on your Memorial Day Saturday, and then a different story for the upper Midwest, and we'll talk about that in a second. But for tomorrow, looking at mostly going to be quarter-sized hail for most of us through the upper plains as well as through the East Coast with that trough. So down in the East Coast risk here, if you guys are anywhere again from New York to Columbia, South Carolina, chances for hail for you guys mostly around $1/4 to $1/2, but again, like today, could see a couple that get stronger than that, but it's going to be a primarily wind threat featuring some $1/4 to $1/2 sized hail. Then off into the northern plains as well as Montana, anywhere from Billings to Rapid City, could get some hail with any of those scattered storms in the $1/4 to $1/2 size range. So we're watching that for tomorrow. Then for wind, gonna look pretty similar, extending that wind threat up to the north through the upper parts of New England with those scattered storms that track through. So too cold up there for hail, but we still do have a chance for wind. So moderate chances anywhere through the southern part of that risk area from DC to Columbia. Could see some scattered, or this is for wind, moderate chance for wind anywhere through that area. Could see some scattered gusty winds moving through as they track towards the East Coast. Then on up into the northern part, again, it's gonna be scattered more through the New York and Maine area, but could see some gusty winds there as well. Then on into the upper plains and Montana, low-end chances once again for some gusty winds, as well as low-end chances for severe hail with any of those scattered storms that develop. Then into this weekend, that's where things get a little bit more interesting. So if you guys are looking for more of a large hail threat, this weekend's where you're going to want to watch. So this is this troublesome trough that's just been taking its time, moving across the eastern U.S. Here it is by later today, and then really doesn't move very quickly by 6 p.m. tomorrow. It's barely tracked across the Ohio Valley, and that's why we get that East Coast risk. And then we've got a short wave that's producing all of those storms off in the northern plains. This little baby dip could help us out with that. And then as it continues off to the east, finally, we get a chance at heat return, humidity, and instability to return up through the central plains ahead of this trough. And this is what we're watching for Memorial Day weekend. The cold front, along with this, by Saturday afternoon, could spark some pretty intense storms through the northern plains as well as the Midwest. It's going to again take its time like that last one did, and so we could have a second shot at a lot of northern plains and Midwest storms by Sunday afternoon and evening, and then as it continues to kind of linger through the area, we could see more yet again on Monday afternoon. So definitely stay tuned if you're in the central plains as well as the Midwest. This trough is looking pretty intense, and again, we have all that time for that heat and humidity to return up through the area, so we could get more of a large hail chance until later on into this weekend and early next week, and then there the trough goes by Tuesday afternoon. So here's what we got for you guys for our look-ahead forecast. By Saturday, again, with that large-scale trough moving through, anywhere from Rapid City to Minneapolis again could get some large hail. So again, if you guys are in Minnesota, it's been your year for hail this year. So stay tuned, especially this weekend, because spoiler alert, you're in all three risks for Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Then all the way down into Omaha, could get severe storms with Saturday. Then we're going to contract that risk just a little bit for Sunday. spanning all the way from the very northern part, I think it's International Falls, I think is the name of it, in northern Minnesota, all the way down to Omaha yet again for hail, wind, and possible tornado chances with that system tracking through. And then again, it's a slow mover. It's going to be a similar area for Monday, but Minneapolis yet again, Omaha yet again could see some severe weather for the coming Memorial Day. So stay tuned. Could be interesting. It's going to be one to watch for sure. The intensity of that trough is getting all of our attention. So definitely stay tuned. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit See First on Facebook so you never miss a live video. And then smash that subscribe button on YouTube so you always catch us when we go live. And then if you want to contact us, you can call us at 855-334-4245. You can also email us at info@hailtrace.com or check out our website, hailtrace.com, for more details on who we are and what we do. We'll keep you updated as always, but for now, I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.